right.
And I was like screaming, I'm like, you're not helping
All right.
anything by disciplining.
Hi, everyone. Before I officially call our meeting tonight to order, I will just run down our agenda so we all have a sense of what we have going on this evening. And I know Kim is ready in the BevCam booth, so thank you, Kim, for making sure, as always, that our meetings are accessible at home for everyone. So tonight we have one citizen speaker who is here with us. Then we have 3 posted public hearings, although our 8 o'clock public hearing, National Grid has asked for a continuance on that, an extension. So if there are members of the public who come ready to speak at 8, we'll take those members so that they're not inconvenienced, but we will then be recessing that one for National Grid to have more time as requested. And then we have just some routine business to take care of. We will take a break for some committee work, and then we'll come back here to wrap everything up. And that's what we've got. So with that, I will officially call to order this regular meeting of the Beverly City Council, Monday, April 3rd, 2023, 7 o'clock p.m. Ms. Kent, will you please call the roll?
Bowen? Here. Crawley?
Here.
Feldman?
Here.
Hausman?
Here.
Rand?
Here.
Rotundo? St. Hilaire?
Here.
Sweeney?
Here.
And Flowers.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Kent. Councilor Rotundo is busy with a work engagement tonight, so Councilor Rand, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance in his place?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Councilor Rand. We will go right to our first order of business on the agenda, and that is our citizen speaker. And as councilors know, but for those watching at home, these citizen speaker spots are available at every regular city council meeting. There are 3 spots available, first come, first serve, and residents can sign up by contacting our city clerk, Ms. Kent, no later than 9:30 the morning of a regular meeting, and then residents have up to 5 minutes each to address the council about topics that you are thinking about, concerned about, and although it's not a time for question and answer, you won't see the council engage back and forth with citizen speakers. As I always say, they're really important spots because they do get us thinking, they inform our conversations as a council, and often spur us to next steps or future action as well. So we will get right to our citizen speaker. Aaron Altman from Green Beverly is here to speak to us. And even though I just gave away your name, I'll ask you to restate it for the record and your address as well. And then you have up to 5 minutes.
Good evening, honorable city council members. My name is Aaron Altman, 6 Iverson Road, and I'm here on behalf of Green Beverly to provide you with an urgent update. As I'm sure you're aware, we are and have been in a climate crisis. During these times, it is common to see people point the blame at others, especially because there's a multitude of inaccurate information being spread. Even people who understand they are part of the problem have little hope because our reliance on fossil fuels is addictive and often necessary to succeed in today's world. There's only so much we can do as private citizens to combat climate change, and we need to work together with you, the policymakers, to tackle this crisis, especially since there is a rapidly closing window to secure a livable and sustainable future for all. Therefore, I am presenting the most recent findings from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is known as the IPCC, which is made up of 700 scientists from around the world. This is the 6th report completed by the IPCC and the first to be made public since 2014. So as you can imagine, the results are drastically different from the prior report, and I'll present you with what we believe are the 6 most pertinent findings. Number 1, climate risk findings from this report are projected to have increased to multiple times higher than the earlier version. The impacts are not only limited to the climate, but they also come from other factors that are happening simultaneously. These risks are complex and challenging to manage. Number 2, as it stands, our current carbon emissions from existing fossil fuel infrastructure will exceed our carbon budget of 1.5 degrees Celsius. We cannot afford to exceed this without catastrophic consequences, which means we must prioritize policies that are net zero carbon emissions oriented. Number 3, in order to limit our temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, we will need drastic cuts in global emissions, Cuts that would allow us to reach net zero by 2050. If our cuts do not allow us to reach net zero until 2070, we will experience a temperature rise of 2 degrees. This is a level that will have catastrophic impacts all around. Number 4, if we set a goal of 1.5 degrees and do not abide by its limitations, we will see irreversible, costly, and deadly consequences. This means we cannot falter in our attempt to reach net zero carbon emissions. Number 5, it is with high confidence in this report that deep, rapid, and sustained mitigation in this decade would reduce projected losses for humans and the ecosystem and deliver many benefits for our health. While mitigation policies require an upfront investment, it is pennies compared to the cost of the alternative of doing nothing. We are morally obligated to be proactive. Number 6, we need everyone, including those in power, to work together and create plans that promote clean energy and protect the environment. Elected officials, you hold the responsibility of being agents for change, and we are here to remind you that Green Beverly is one of many resources, along with city committees and commissions, local community organizations, and concerned constituents available to help you through this process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Altman, for being here. And I see Executive Director Dean Berg of Green Beverly and Julia Long of Green Beverly here as well. So thank you for coming, for your time, and for sharing those thoughts and updates with us. It's much appreciated. Thank you. As we have some time, we're getting a communication from beyond.
Update is complete.
Oh, I'm
Sorry
sorry.
about that. Or actually, it's not, so we might, I don't know if I can make that stop, but hopefully it won't
That's right.
happen.
We'll hope your update comes
Pardon the
through.
interruption.
So we will go now to acceptance of minutes of previous meetings, as we have some time before our first posted public hearing. We have 5 sets of meeting minutes to approve tonight. The first is our regular City Council meeting, March 3rd, 2023. The second is Legal Affairs Committee meeting minutes from March 20th, 2023. The third is Public Services Committee meeting minutes from March 20th, 2023. The fourth is our Legal Affairs Committee meeting minutes from March 27th, 2023. And the fifth are Finance and Property Committee meeting minutes from March 27th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve those 5 sets of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0, and those are approved. We will go to communications from His Honor the Mayor, please, Ms. Kent.
Order number 79, Dear Honorable City Council, I respectfully request that you approve a total transfer of $408,750, $216,786 from the FY23 reserve for unforeseen 113245780 and $191,964 from the reserve for collective bargaining 11324/57810 into police department budget as a result of the recently agreed upon Beverly Police Department patrolman contract. The terms of the contracts cover the periods of FY 2022 through FY 2024. As such, a portion of the required transfer will be allocated to pay retroactive salary adjustments, and a portion will be allocated to adjust the FY 2023 budgeted salaries for the patrolmen. Sufficient funds are available within the reserve accounts to support this transfer. Please initiate action on this matter at your next City Council meeting. This transfer does require a public hearing be set. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Thank you. Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property, and we'll set that public hearing.
Order number 80, Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has received a $2,500 donation from the Beverly Rotary Club. This donation is to fund the purchase of the officers' equipment. Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A requires both City Council and Mayor approval before any grants, earmarks, donations, or gifts to the city can be extended for their prescribed purpose. I therefore request the City Council approve this donation by taking action on this matter at your upcoming meeting. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 81, Dear Honorable City Council, I am pleased to inform you that the City of Beverly has received a $2,500 donation from the Beverly Rotary Club. The donation is to fund the purchase of fire department dive equipment. Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A requires both City Council and Mayor approval before any grant, earmark, donations or gifts to the city can be extended for their prescribed purpose. I therefore request the city council approve this donation by acting on this matter at your upcoming meeting. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 82, dear honorable city council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Nathan Kramer at 22 Pine Street, Stoneham, to serve on the Board of Assessors. Mr. Kramer will fill the seat left vacant by Mr. Peter Karen, who recently resigned. Mr. Kramer is a highly regarded assessor and extremely knowledgeable in the field and will be a complement to the board. His term is effective until December 31st, 2025. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor. Sorry, got ahead of myself.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property as well.
Order number 83. Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Mr. Francis Golden, 5 Wells Road, Reading, to serve as the Chief Assessor and Chairman of the Board of Assessors. Mr. Golden has been a member of the board for several years. He is a highly regarded assessor and extremely knowledgeable in the field. He will fill the Chief Assessor's role left vacant by Mr. Peter Karen. His term is effective until December 31st, 2025. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Yes. Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property as well.
Order number 84. Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby appoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Ms. Brenda Wong Murphy of 15 Bertram Street, Beverly, to serve on the Beverly Culture Council. Her term is to be effective from April 30th, 2023 until April 30th, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Public Services.
Order number 85. Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby reappoint, subject to review and recommendation, Mr. Brian Ailes, Director of Municipal Finance, City of Beverly, 191 Cabot Street, Beverly, to serve on the Beverly Retirement Board. His term is to be effective until February 11th, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 86. Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby reappoint, subject to your review, as provided in Section 2-10 of the Beverly City Charter, Ms. Darlene Nguyen, to serve as Director of Planning and Development for a period of 3 years. Her term is to be effective from April 12th, 2023 through April 13th, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 87. Dear Honorable City Council, I hereby reappoint, subject to your review and recommendation, Ms. Mindy Diapolito, 20 Aldell Ave, Beverly, and Principal Gabrielle Montevecchi. Hannah Elementary School, 41R Brimble Avenue, Beverly, to serve on the Human Rights Commission. This term are to be effective from April 4, 2023 until April 4, 2026. Sincerely yours, Michael P. Cahill, Mayor.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs. Let's go to communications from other city officers and boards, please.
Did you want to read your letter, or you want me to just read the heading?
Just the headings, okay.
Order number 88 from President Flowers, a letter of recommendation for the salary increase of the Assistant City Clerk.
Please refer that to the Committee on Finance and Property.
Order number 89 from the City Clerk for a taxi livery license renewal application for BAT Enterprises LLC at 498 Elliott Street.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Order number 90 from the City Clerk for a taxi livery license for a new vehicle for Bass River, Inc. at 437 Essex Street.
Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs.
Communications.
Communications, applications, and petitions, please.
Order number 91 from Beverly Main Streets, Lindsay Barth, Executive Director, an application for the 10th Annual Block Party to be held on July 29, 2023.
Thank you. Please refer that to the Committee on Legal Affairs. And Ms. Barth is here with us tonight. Thank you, Ms. Barth, for being here. And when that goes to subcommittee, you'll be able to meet with the committee at that point.
Order number 92 from the Varian Aptem Response to City Council February 6, 2023 Public Comment Phase 3 Remedial Action Plan, Mass DEP Site number 3-0485.
Thank you. And this is the response that the council received to our comments, and I would entertain a motion to receive these and place them on file.
So moved. Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0.
Order number 93, Notice of Availability, Final Phase 2 Comprehensive Site Assessment Addendum, former Varian Facility Site, 150 Sawyer Road.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0.
Order number 94, the notice of availability, response to comments Phase 3 summary, former Varian Facility Site, 150 Sawyer Road.
Ms. Ken, I'm going to change up what we said before, but I would entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0.
Order number 95.
5.
I'm out of order.
Sorry,
here.
I threw
No,
you
that's
off.
okay. Order 95, notice of availability, public comment draft revised, Phase 3 remedial action plan, former Varian Facility Site, 150 Sawyer Road.
I would also entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0.
Order number 96, notice of availability, public comment draft, partial Phase 4 remedy implementation plan, former Varian Facility Site, 150 Sawyer Road.
And I would entertain a motion to receive that and place it on file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0. We do have some unfinished business from a previous meeting. Councilors will remember that we received Order 75 from Alexander and Femino requesting rezoning of property at 8 Summit Ave from RMD to CC, and this requires a joint public hearing with the planning board. So we had communicated via our planning director to the planning board, and so I would entertain a motion to set that joint public hearing for our May 1st meeting at 8 p.m.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0. And so we will plan on that joint public hearing with the planning board within the context of our May 1st meeting, and we'll have that at 8 p.m. I would entertain a motion. We have about 15 minutes before our first posted public hearing. Can I do what I'm about to do?
You're going to go to, then we'll
Yes.
go back to.
You looked in a way that I was like, wait.
Make sure you know this, yeah.
I would entertain a motion to take a break for some committee work. If there's a committee that can't get through all of its agenda before 7:30, come back and then we'll break again. So entertain a motion to take a break for some committee work at this point.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So we'll have legal affairs stay here, finance and property in the committee room, public services on the, we'll be back for 7:30 for our first public hearing.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna, are you all set? Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to call to order, please, the Legal Affairs Committee. All right, we'll take up order number 89, which is, let's see, the tax livery renewal application for BAT Enterprises LLC at 498 Elliott Street. Is that, are you here for a tax livery license? No? For what? I'm sorry. Okay, National Grid. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't somebody here for this. On order 89? Thank you, Solicitor Williams. Yeah.
So, this application is, if you look at the first page of the actual application, they didn't sign the section
Oh,
that
yes.
speaks to having filed all state tax returns and paid all state taxes required by law. And so that's something they
Incomplete.
need to do
Okay,
before they get their license.
okay.
And I would like to just point out, generically speaking, that I noticed the registration on 2 of the vehicles expires at the end of June. I don't know if if the clerk has a process for ensuring that vehicles get re-registered, but
That's a good question.
maybe something just to flag for the city clerk, or, if and when you approve it,
Okay,
should be conditioned on them signing it and them providing proof that the registration was renewed.
okay, that makes sense.
Or is renewed.
I mean, other than conditionally approving this, I mean, it seems like they need to resubmit an application, or just sign this? and- Okay,
And, I mean, they can't help that their registration expires in the.
right, but the signature is
Yeah.
mandatory, as it says, right there. Okay,
And I have a comment on the next one, too.
okay, all right, so, questions from committee member?
No questions from me. I can motion
Would
it.
you like to make a motion?
Sure. I move to conditionally approve order number 89 upon receipt of signature by the applicant, and I'll just leave it at that.
Signature pertaining to the payment of taxes, state taxes.
Yes, signature pertaining to certification of payment of state taxes.
Okay. Second, all in favor? Aye. All right, I just want to make sure I have the wording correctly since I'm recording our vote here. Signature to, taxes. Okay. Thank you for that motion. And let's take up order number 90 now, which is also a livery license renewal application for Bass River Inc. at 437 Essex Street. Solicitor Williams.
So this one, and I just want to point out that there's 2 different kinds of licenses. There's taxi licenses and livery licenses.
Okay.
They're not the
They're
same
not the
license.
same.
There's a lot of overlap.
Okay.
So with the Order 89, one of those is a livery license, and 2 of them are taxi licenses. So, but
Okay.
just for future reference.
Okay.
And I think it has more to do with differences in what the drivers need to do with the chief of police, as opposed to the city council requirements for the most part. But this order 90, they don't have any proof of insurance. And so the ordinance actually states, the applicant shall provide the city council with a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million, which must include a statement of insurance company indicating that the policy shall not be canceled without a minimum 14 days notice to the city council or city clerk. So they have a new vehicle, it looks like, but they have not provided proof of insurance for that vehicle.
Okay, and this is, I mean, so it's a new vehicle adding to their fleet.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
So the insurance just also, when you see a certificate of insurance, like on the last one, it has to make sure you match up the VIN numbers.
Right.
So the previous one has a certificate of insurance, and the VIN numbers match the VIN numbers on the
for the vehicle.
registration.
Right,
So
yeah.
just because they have a vehicle that already was licensed, that's insured, it doesn't mean they can just tag this one onto it.
Right. Thank you for pointing that out and catching that. Questions from committee?
I guess I would just pose a question for you, Madam Chair. Do we want to similarly condition approval on this and just make that the administrative hurdle? If they clear that, they're all set.
Right, with
Okay.
proof of insurance for this exact car.
Right, and so the clerk is going to check the VIN number,
Right,
what you're going to have to do.
yeah, right. I mean, you have to your point, the insurance applies to one specific vehicle. So it needs to be for that vehicle, not the old vehicle. Or, you know,
One hopes they have it, because my guess is
It's
it's on the road.
It's referenced in the certificate of registration, so I'm sure they have it.
Okay.
So I will move,
It does say they have insurance, but they haven't provided
The proof.
any indication of how much
correct.
it's for.
So I will move to conditionally approve Order 90 upon submission of sufficient documentation, of proof of insurance to the city.
It needs to be a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million.
Okay, so I'll amend that to be more specific. So approve Order number 90, conditional on submission of a certificate of insurance in the amount of $1 million.
Which must include a statement of the insurance company indicating that the policy shall not be canceled without a minimum of 14 days' notice to the city council or city clerk.
And is that just exactly from the ordinance that you're reading? Okay.
As required by 274-15 subsection C. It's just that the clerk should know that there are specific limits that are required.
Okay. So here's what I have. Conditionally approve upon the submittal of a certificate of insurance of $1 million as required by 274-15C.
Right.
So
Is
moved.
that enough?
Well, I would just say, I mean, it's not just the limits, it's the I would say, a certificate of insurance in compliance with section 274-15. Because there are two requirements there. One is a policy in the amount of at least $1 million and a statement of the insurance company that the policy shall not be canceled without a minimum of 14 days' notice to the city council. So that needs to be on the certificate of insurance as well.
Okay.
Because obviously we don't want uninsured
No.
taxis or livery services operating in the city.
Right. I would not want to approve that. So, so the motion is to approve conditionally upon submittal of a certificate of insurance in compliance with section 274-15C.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So you moved that. I
Second,
will-
or, yeah.
Okay. I'll second.
You move that,
Okay.
and I'll second it, because I'm the chair. So you move it. All right, second, those in favor? Aye. Okay. Thank you for your help with that, Solicitor Williams. Okay, that's why we need you. Okay, let's take up order number 91. And this is an application for the 10th annual block party, which is hoping to take place on July 19th. And this was submitted by Lindsay Barth, who is our new executive director of Beverly Main Streets. And Solicitor Williams, you have some input on this as well. Okay, that sounds great. Would you like to come on up here and just share your thoughts about the block party and anything else you wanted to let us know about it?
Sure, absolutely.
Your application here.
Well, while this will be my first block party as the executive director of Beverly Main Streets, this is our 10th annual year of hosting this event. And we have a long history of hosting this community event with no incidents, thanks to the hard work of our police department, our dedicated volunteers, and our alcohol vendor, who this year we will be using Salerno's. We do have our one-day license approved. I can share some of the details if you'd like, but this event will be taking place on July 29th, if approved. We would be closing off the same area as in previous years from Pond Street to Federal Street.
Okay, excellent. And I'm just seeing that the rest of the counselors have finished up their committee meetings and noticing that it is just about 7:30. So I think, I'm sorry that you'll have to wait a little bit longer to hear the results of your, of this order, but we'll have to take this up after our public hearing, I guess,
not a problem.
right?
Thank
Okay,
you.
so thank you for that introduction. And I will, I would like to accept a motion to adjourn Legal Affairs Committee.
So moved.
Second?
And those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned until later. Thank you. I will call the city council back to order, the full council, so that we can resume our agenda with our posted 7:30 public hearing. This is on order number 68. Ms. Kent.
Order number 68, that the City Council of the City of Beverly held a public hearing on Monday, April 3rd at 7:30 PM at 191 Cabot Street. Council chambers live on BevCam relative to the National Grid Plan 306-48523 to install conduits on 105 San Bonzo Drive. Is this the light on?
Yes, 105 San Ponce
Drive, yes. And this was in the newspaper on March 24th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kent. I see that we have a National Grid representative here with us, so I'd invite you to come to the podium and give us any updates or overview that you may have on this plan for this public hearing.
Hi, my name is Michael Kazadi, and I'm representing National Grid at 44 River Street in Beverly. And for this job, we're just petitioning to trench and install about 5 feet of conduit from the existing pole to the customer's property.
Thank you. Members of the City Council, are there any questions on this particular National Grid plan? Councilor Feldman.
So, thank you. So just so I understand this correctly, it's a 5-foot trench
Yes, yes.
between conduit to lay new conduit?
Yep.
Is it across the street?
No, it's
No.
just across the sidewalk.
Across the sidewalk? And is the sidewalk already paved, and will it be restored to its original?
I don't think that sidewalk is paved, but if it is, we will restore
Okay.
it. So, yeah.
And this is to provide a new service to one of the buildings?
Yes.
Okay. Great, that's it.
Thank you, Councilor. Other questions from members of the council or comments on this plan? Are there members of the public who wish to speak in this public hearing? Seeing none, I will close this public hearing, refer it back to the Committee on Public Services. We will have time for another committee break tonight to take action on that hearing. Legal Affairs, you had some other things you were right in the middle of. So we have until 7:45 before our next public hearing. So I would entertain a motion to take a break for further committee work so Legal Affairs could resume where they were at. And Public Services, if you want to meet and take up that public hearing we just sent back your way, you are free to.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0. So we will take a break for further committee work and be back at 7:45 for the next hearing.
Here we are.
Okay, we'll call back to order the Legal Affairs Committee. Let's see, and we were taking up order number 91, which is the request to hold the 10th annual block party. And we heard from Ms. Barth. Thank you very much for the introduction. And I can't believe it's been 10 years, actually. That's kind of amazing. It's been pretty fun. So I know Solicitor Williams, you had some things to share with us about this order.
One thing, so this really is a request for a waiver from section 113-2 of the city ordinance. And so, because section 113-2 prohibits the possession of any open bottle or can containing an alcoholic beverage while in or upon a public way or on a way in which the public has a right to access. So traditionally, these kinds of requests are couched when you make the motion. It's a motion to approve the waiver of section 113-2 of the city ordinance, subject to a one-day license and presumably the conditions in the letter.
Okay.
So I think my point is you should specifically reference that you're waiving 113-2.
Okay. And otherwise, you don't see any, you don't have any concerns with the
Well,
request, just that it's done
I mean, I
specifically?
haven't scrutinized the application, the
Okay.
request beyond the fact that that's typically the way this is framed. And, you know, they're going to have to get the one-day license, so the licensing board will obviously impose their own conditions. And, you know, you should be satisfied with the conditions yourself.
Okay,
So,
all right. Thank you very much. Counselor Sweeney, do you have any questions for either Solicitor Williams or Ms. Barth?
I do not.
Okay. And I guess I would just ask you one more question, Ms. Barth. Were there any conditions that you added this year that have not been there in the past?
No conditions have been added, though we are moving back to what was traditionally the timing of the event. Last year, we held the event from 4 to 8. This year, it'll be from 5:30 to 9:30, as in previous other years.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
so that's for the period of time of the waiver.
Okay.
If you wanted to go the whole time, so.
Right. And that's so thinking of the timing, that tends to be the kind of thing that the liquor licensing board will also sort of weigh in on with conditions. My mindset is to sort of leave the logistics of managing the actual alcohol to the liquor licensing board because that's their area of expertise. But, yeah. Yes.
I do just have one quick question now, building off of that point of conversation.
Sure.
So just to make sure that I understand this correctly, we are waiving the relevant city ordinance, and it's up to the licensing board to grant the one-day liquor license, which they haven't done yet, and that's...
I don't know if they've done
Okay. But that's how this process works, twofold, as opposed to just us granting full
Right.
approval right now.
Yeah, there's one more step.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a good question.
Okay.
two steps, two things need to be done.
But in our purview is just to waive the relevant ordinance for that time period outlined by Ms. Barth.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Have you already gone to the licensing board, and have they approved on the condition that we approve? Okay. Did they apply any, just out of curiosity, did they apply any conditions to the timing of when you stop serving?
No additional conditions. We do typically have a last call.
I'm sorry, will you come to the, sorry. I can hear you fine, but people at home on BevCam can't.
No additional conditions. We typically have a last call prior to 9:30, so alcohol will not be served, right up until 9:30. It'll usually be about 9 o'clock, 9:15.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Sure. Solicitor Williams.
On the last bullet, it says no other licensed vendors or restaurants will be authorized to serve outside during the party. That's a restriction you're putting on it. In other words, you're not requesting anyone else to serve. The city council generally could, if
Could
somebody...
say that's
yeah,
okay.
Right.
Right.
Is that correct? Yeah.
That's interesting, where if we were to approve this as is, and then someone came to us and said, we want to have, we want to waive section 113-2.
And I don't know who currently, I know that outdoor dining was just extended, I don't know if anybody's doing it, but obviously you don't want to have the unintended consequence of saying that.
Right.
I think the point of that bullet is they're communicating to you, is that Salerno's is going to be the vendor that's serving the alcohol.
Of their choice,
nobody
yeah,
else.
right.
Correct? For
Okay.
your event, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? All right, I would accept a motion.
I move to accept Order 91 as presented to grant a waiver of the relevant city ordinance to Beverly Main Streets for the 10th Annual Block Party on July 29th from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m.
Okay. Second, and those in favor? Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for being here today, and thank you for your input, Solicitor Williams. And that will go back out to the full council for a vote. And I would accept a motion to adjourn Legal Affairs Committee.
So moved.
Second, those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. At 7:45, so I will call the full council back to order again so that we can pick up with our 7:45 posted public hearing
This is on order number 71. Ms. Kent.
Order number 71, the City of Beverly ordered that the City Council of the City of Beverly hold a public hearing on Monday, April 3rd, 2023, at 7:45 PM at 191 Cabot Street, 3rd floor, Council Chambers, live on BevCam, relative to a transfer of $188,036 from the Reserve for Union Negotiations, 11324/57810, into the Police Department as a result of the recently agreed Union Superior Officers contract. And this was in the newspaper on March 24th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kent. I do want to mention, I see our City Finance Director, Mr. Brian Ailes, is at the podium, and I'm going to give you the floor in a moment, but I should also take a moment to recognize that our City Solicitor, Stephanie Williams, is here with us. People who are following on BevCam just saw that she was here in Legal Affairs, but I have not yet gotten to recognize her being here. Thank you, Solicitor. Also, our Assistant City Solicitor, Jesse Dole, is here with us. Thank you, Mr. Dole. Dylan Benson from the Solicitor's Office is here with us as well. Thank you, Mr. Benson. And our City Council Budget Analyst, Mr. Jerry Perry, is here. Thank you very much, Mr. Perry. Mr. Ailes, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, everybody. You have before you this evening a request to transfer funds from the Reserve for Union Negotiations. It's a reserve that we collectively placed in the budget for FY23 in anticipation of settling of, at that time, I believe it was 2 outstanding contracts, the patrol, which you have some communications before you this evening to set that public hearing, as well as the one that this public hearing is about, which is the Superior's Union contract. The request is for $188,036, and it should be noted that the contract period spans from FY22 through FY24. We're currently in FY23, so there is some retro components and retro payments that will be paid as a result of an approval if the council approves this order this evening. So there will be some retro, and there'll also be an adjustment to the FY23 budget, retro back to July 1, as well as through the end of June 30th of this fiscal year. I'm here with Assistant City Solicitor Mr. Dole to discuss any of the specifics you have about the MOA. We did provide the MOA for your review. Just to very quickly highlight the major components from my perspective, which are the financial pieces. There is 3 years of cost of living adjustments, or wage adjustments, if you will. FY22 will be a 2.25% adjustment, FY23 a 2.25% adjustment, and in FY24 a 2.75% adjustment. This is consistent with many of the other contracts that the city has already settled. In addition to that, there will be some adjustments to the detail rates as noted in the MOA. There will be a one-time payment of cash payment, which will not bake into the base of the officers, of $500 when we settle the contract. And then there will also be a one-time adjustment to the pay base in varying amounts for each of the officers, whether they're a sergeant, lieutenant, or captain, related to the implementation and training and support for the civilian dispatch work that we're doing over at the public safety facility. And I believe, Mr. Dole can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's it for the financial components. Oh, I stand corrected. There also is a longevity adjustment, as well as a, no, there's not a longevity adjustment? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have it. I just don't have my glasses. That's the problem. I'm not the only one. Oh, it was a vacation day. Yeah. Why don't you? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Mr. Dole, thank you.
Good evening. So, at the risk of possibly repeating Mr. Ailes, there was the 3 years of the wage pattern of the 2 1/4, 2 1/4, and 2 3/4. I think what Mr. Ailes might have missed is we do have an existing in the contract the educational incentive benefit that compensates officers for having either an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or a master's degree. Back in the 2016-2018 CBA for the patrol union, we agreed to add an equivalent for police officers who did not have a degree but had certain had 4 years of active duty military service and an honorable discharge, that we would begin to treat that as the equivalent of an associate's degree and would allow them to receive a 10% educational incentive bonus. We have now extended it through this MOA. We have now extended that to the Superiors Union also. And I think also Mr. Ailes had hit on the detail rate, how sick leave buyback is calculated at the time of retirement, an additional, the Juneteenth, an additional 1 day of vacation at 20 years of service, and I think then the recognition of the transition to civilian dispatch. There's a one-time base wage adjustment for that purpose. That if I can expand much further on that, but I don't want to chew up your time unless you would like to hear more about that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dole. Counselors, are there questions or comments for either Mr. Ailes, Mr. Dole, or we can also hear from Mr. Perry as well?
I'd just like to hear from Mr. Perry if he has any comments to add.
Mr. Perry? Counselor Hudson, I liked your half-hearted hand raising.
Madam President, members of the council, good evening. As you know, I forwarded to you a memorandum at the end of last week regarding this matter, which details the various components of the collective bargaining agreement between the administration and the superior officers, so you pretty much have that, and it's been discussed tonight. As Mr. Ailes correctly indicated, there is sufficient funds and the line item to do it. We'll be using the rest of that plus more, I think, in a couple of weeks. We come back on the patrolman's contract. Madam President, is my recommendation. The only thing I'll add, which I'm encouraged about, is I was really happy that we seem to be paving the way for the civilian dispatch. And I haven't yet to review the patrolman's contract, but we'll look at that obviously over the next week. But I'm looking forward. I think we're getting to where we've been trying to get to for many years with this contract. Madam President, members of council, it's my recommendation you approve the proposal of the mayor, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Any questions or comments from counselors? Counselor Rand.
Thank you so much. And I actually do have a question on the civilian dispatch, and I see that it's a new article. And my question is that, so in this new article, it says that there is a permanent increase in base wages. So I just sort of want to know more about how permanent is permanent, and does that mean we see this, will we see this article every time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can help you with that.
Just
Permanent
curious
is
about
permanent. It's permanent. It's going to stay there forever, yes. Unlike, they get a one-time retention bonus of $500. That's not permanent. That is just a one-time shot. The other stuff, as I indicated in my memo, I think you're talking about the sergeants getting $831, the lieutenants $972, and the captains $1118. That will be permanently added to their salaries and will be built upon that in future years.
Just a follow-up question. So I guess I'm curious about what happens when we're fully, let's say in another decade, we're sort of fully rolling with civilian dispatch units. Can anyone share what their sense is of how this article will work then? Or I'm curious because it has taken about 10 years to get to this point, so.
It is just a one-time increase in base wages. It is not a recurring annual bonus or benefit or stipend. It's just this one time, the same way that the wage pattern is applied. So if, for example, July 1st, for the purposes of this CBA in FY22 on July 1st, first day of that FY22, base wages were increased 2.25%. This does a similar thing.
Okay.
It's just a one-time increase in base wages. It's not nothing recurring. It's not built on percentages. The numbers themselves are the equivalent of 1% of each rank base wages. So it's just a one-time adjustment. It's not something that's going to grow. Base wages will obviously grow every year with base wage increases, but this is just a one-time increase.
Okay.
Solicitor.
And then, yeah,
Just to add to that, the superior officers, one of the things they had pointed out is that they may have ongoing supervisory responsibilities, even though we're fully up and running. We do have a joint civilian dispatch supervisor. She'll be there 40 hours a week, but the supervisor, police supervisors may have some obligation. And actually, the civilian dispatch supervisor reports to the fire chief and the police chief or their designee. So there is an ongoing role for them.
okay, that's good to know.
Thank you, Solicitor.
I guess my last question, if I may, thank you, is this pay retroactive as well? I guess.
No, it is not. It's
Okay.
not FY '21, FY '22 base wage increases would be retroactive. This is not a retroactive pay.
Okay, great. I'm very excited to see this moving forward. That, I know that was hard work for both the police department and our, solicitor's office and Mr. Ailes. You all worked really hard on that, so thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Bowen.
Thank you. And yes, I also wanted to add thanks because I know this was a long process with a lot of work behind it. So excited to see it in front of us and moving forward. And I just wanted to get a little clarification because there's so many different pieces. If you have a sense of how much of this transfer is for the fiscal year 2022, make up the fiscal year 2023 costs, and then a sense of what the difference between sort of status quo and fiscal year 24 assumptions will be now based on this.
Sure. So the $500 one-time bonus payment, that'll be $9,000 that they'll receive. The retro related to FY '22 equates to a little over $58,000 of this. Then because that adjustment for FY '22 compounds into FY '23, the cost for FY '23, which contains two 2.25 adjustments, is $80,500 of this, plus from this point forward to the end of the year, $34,000. So that's a total of $115,000 roughly for FY '23. And then the adjustment that will go into place related to civilian dispatch from now till the end of the year is another $5,000 this year. I don't have the FY '24 figures in front of me.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mr. Ailes. Any other questions or comments from members of the council? Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in this public hearing? Seeing none, I'll close this public hearing and refer it back to the Committee on Finance and Property. We will take action on that this evening. We have just a couple of minutes before our 8 p.m. public hearing. And so for those who may have joined on BevCam after the start of our meeting, I'll just mention that this is the public hearing. It's continued from our prior meetings. This is on Order 287 pertaining to National Grid's petition to install 8,050 feet of 12-inch plastic gas main under Hale Street. And the council had asked for some information from National Grid. National Grid has requested more time to get that to the council. So it's our intention when we open this hearing to be able to recess it to our next regular meeting. If a member of the public is on the way here and comes here to speak, then we will allow that. But otherwise, we'll anticipate taking this up on the 18th. So with that, one more minute. We're so
unless somebody's running up the stairs.
Let's go ahead and open that public hearing on Order 287. And Ms. Kent, would you read that order for us?
Order number 287, ordered the City of Beverly, ordered that the City Council of the City of Beverly hold a public hearing on Monday, December 5th, 2022, 8:20 p.m. at 191 Cabot Street, 3rd floor, Council Chambers, live stream on BevCam relative to the petition from National Grid for a petition to install plastic gas main on Hale Street, extended from the existing stub near Cabot to be the regulated station at Boyle Street. And this was published in the newspaper on November 25th, 2022.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kent. And as we see in our notes, this has been continued through December, January, and March. And so we'll take this up at our next meeting with that information, hopefully from National Grid. I would entertain a motion then to recess this public hearing to April 18th at 8:30 PM.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 8-0. So we will recess this public hearing on Order 287, take it up at our next regular meeting. And I will comment, that is a Tuesday meeting because of the Patriots' Day holiday on that Monday. So the 18th, when we take it up, will be one day after our usual meeting night. I just don't want people to be confused by that Monday holiday. So I would entertain a motion to take a break for one more short round of committee work. Finance and Property needs to take up that last public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll take a break for committee work and we'll be right back. I think finance, we might as well stay here for this one.
Okay.
We have before us order number 71 relating to the transfer for the police department. On the subject matter that we just held a public hearing, are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion from the committee.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. I would entertain a motion to adjourn committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to adjourn finance and property.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. All right, we'll call the full council back to order, and we'll go to reports from committees. Ms. Kent.
Order number 68, the Committee on Public Services, to whom referred the matter regarding Plan 306-48523 regarding 105 San Fonso Drive, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend that the council approve this request.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That carries 7-0. I almost did too.
Order number 70, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom refer the matter regarding a reappointment for William Finch, 50 Front Street, to serve on the Beverly Historic District Commission, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the council approve this reappointment.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 7-0 as well. And thank you to Mr. Finch for being willing to serve.
Order number 89, the Committee of Legal Affairs, to whom refer the matter regarding taxi livery renewal application for BAT Enterprise LLC, 498 Elliott Street. Have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the license be approved with the conditions that the applicant signs the pertaining to the taxes are paid for that company.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order as recommended by Legal Affairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 7-0.
Order number 90, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom refer the matter regarding taxi livery renewal application for Bass River, Inc., 437 Essex Street. Have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the license be granted with the condition that they submit the certificate of insurance.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order as recommended by Legal Affairs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carries 7-0.
Order number 91, the Committee on Legal Affairs, to whom refer the matter regarding an application for the 10th Annual Block Party to be held on July 29, 2023. And this is for a waiver of Section 113-2 for alcohol on public property. Have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the license be granted.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye. Thank you. That carries 7-0. And thank you very much, Ms. Barth, for staying with us throughout the whole meeting. And good luck with this block party. I know it's not for a while, but we'll be looking forward to it.
Hope to see you all there.
So this Order 72 was in Legal Affairs, it's coming back, so I have to read the first passage.
Oh, thank you.
So for legal notice 2023, of Order number 72 be ordained by the City Council of the City of Beverly as follows. Section 1518, Building and Other Facilities Planning and Construction Committee is amended as follows. By inserting a second sentence stating the Director of Engineering, Commissioner of Public Services, Public Works, may be appointed to serve as member of the Building and Other Facilities Planning and Construction Committee. Section 15-18, Building and Other Facilities Planning and Construction Committee, amended 2/16/2016 by Order number 13. There shall be a Building and Other Facilities Planning and Construction Committee, Planning and Construction Committee in accordance with Charter Section 5-6. The Director, Engineering, Commissioner of Public Services, Public Works may be appointed to serve as a member of the Building and Other Facilities Planning and Construction Committee. And this is an ordinance for the first reading, and it was in the newspaper on March 24th, and final passage will be the next meeting where we need to take a vote tonight and then another vote on the 18th.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kent. So this is not for final passage tonight, but I would entertain a motion to approve this first reading of the ordinance change.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? So that carries 5-2. And that will be read again at our next regular meeting and will be for final passage.
Correct.
Thank you, Ms. Kent.
You're welcome. And order number 71, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom refer the matter regarding a transfer of $188,036 from the reserve for union negotiations, 11324/57810, into the Police Department, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the council approve this request.
Questions or comments? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 7-0.
Order number 79, the Committee on Finance and Property, for whom referred the matter regarding a transfer of $216,786 from FY 2023 reserve for unforeseen and $191,964 from reserve for collective bargaining for a transfer of $408,750 into a police department budget as a result of the recently agreed upon Beverly Police Patrolman contract. Have considered said matter and set a public hearing for 4/18 at 8:15 p.m.
Questions or comments? The question comes on the acceptance of the proposal that we set that public hearing for our April 18th meeting at 8:15 p.m. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries 7-0, so we'll take that public hearing at our next regular meeting at 8:15. For the next two I'm sorry. You told me
Unless
that.
you want to do that.
No, go ahead. Please go ahead with the order you have.
Order number 88, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom refer the matter regarding a letter recommendation for the salary increase of the Assistant City Clerk, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the council approve this request.
Questions or comments on this one? Question comes on the acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Thank you. That carries 7-0. Now for the next two orders. This is Order 80 and Order 81. I'm going to recuse myself because I am a member of the Beverly Rotary Club, and these donations pertain to the Beverly Rotary Club. Councilor Rand, would you mind taking the votes on these two orders for us in the absence of Councilor Rotundo? Thank you.
Order number 80, the Committee on Finance and Property, to whom referred the matter regarding a $2,500 donation from the Rotary Club to the Police Department for officers' equipment, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the council approve this request.
Questions or comments? And the question comes on acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Proposal carries 6-0.
Order number 81, the Commission on Finance and Property, to whom referred the matter regarding a $2,500 donation from the Rotary Club to Fire Department for the dive equipment, have considered said matter and beg leave to follow. Recommend the council approve this request.
Questions or comments? Question comes on acceptance of the proposal and adoption of the order. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries 6-0.
That's it?
Okay, that's it, and Mr. Perry will collect our president. Thank you. My pleasure.
I said it as I was coming in, but people couldn't hear it at home. I said, thank you, Councilor Rand, for taking those votes. That brings us to the end of our agenda for this evening. Thank you, fellow councilors. That was excellent work and very quick, expeditious work, doing subcommittee work in between there, so thank you for that. Are there any reminders, announcements, or updates that anyone has to share? Councilor Houseman.
Yeah, I just noticed on the city website today that I believe it's April 22nd. They're going to be having a hazardous waste collection. And I don't know the location or the time exactly. Typically, it's in the morning, 8 to noon, probably up at the high school. People can check on the city website, but that's always a good thing. It's electronic waste and hazardous waste collection day.
Great, thank you very much, Councilor Houseman. Councilor Bowen.
Thank you. I just wanted to share with colleagues, but also with anyone around the city who's interested. During the month of April, YW Boston, which is a local nonprofit, runs a campaign, United Against Racism, that has a really sort of baseline, basic curriculum that you can work through at your own pace. It's an online tool. And then they give you a little certificate at the end that says you spent some time reflecting on institutional racism, actions that folks can take. And so I wanted to invite colleagues to participate in that with me this month. I think it would be great to have that kind of shared experience, even if it's something that we're doing individually. And I know we have discussions on the racial equity audit coming up as a council, so I thought it would be a great opportunity for everybody.
Thank you very much, Councilor Bowen. And Councilor Bowen does remind me there is going to be a change in schedule from our special meeting for the 10th, which would have been the time to hear from the consultants on the racial equity audit. The mayor called today to let me know that would be changing, so stay tuned for that date. But Councilor Bowen is not wrong. That is something that we want to do, and so it does not negate the importance of what you were saying. It reminded me that I should have made that announcement, so thank you. Are there other announcements? Oh, Councilor Crowley, I'm sorry.
Sure. Everybody's invited if you'd like to join us in Gloucester Crossing. We're going to be doing a spring gathering on Saturday, April 8th from 11 to 1 at Holcroft and Gage Street at the gazebo. We're going to have an Easter egg hunt and pizza and socializing. So if you'd like to join us, it'll be great.
Thank you very much, Councilor Crowley. Councilor Rand.
Thank you. I have two things. First, and probably the most important, is that we have the regular meeting of the Citizens Advisory Committee for the National Grid Project coming up this Thursday at 5 p.m. And if you haven't, if your constituents aren't affected by this now, but will be, I encourage them to take a field trip over to Wellman, over in Goat Hill, to really see, feel, and hear what it's like when this project is coming through your neighborhood. It's very intense, with like large excavators parked inches from your property line, drilling all day, your street being shut down for weeks at a time. So it's even more challenging than I think we anticipated. So it's very important that people continue to come to these Citizens Advisory Committee meetings. Any citizen who shows up can speak. National Grid will be there. Councilor House and I are almost always there. The mayor will be at this meeting this week as well, so it's an important meeting. And then my second announcement is that I'm not going to run for re-election. So I just thought I'd announce that publicly, because today was the first day to pull papers, and I want to be clear that there is an open seat, which I think is a really exciting thing. That's how I my first election was an open seat, and there were, I think, 4 or 5 of us at the beginning, so it's very exciting when that happens. So I'm looking forward to watching it and attending lots of kickoff campaign events and what have you. So, and there will be a last council meeting for me where I can get much more sentimental. But for now, I just really want to say it's been an honor, and I want to make sure that people know that there's a seat available to run for in the best ward in the city. So, thanks.
Thank you very much, Councilor Rand. And I think it goes without saying that your service to the city has been incredible, and Ward 2 has been well served and will be well served to the end of your term, and you'll be missed.
Thank you.
But it is a good reminder to anybody watching, as you said, that nomination papers in Beverly were available beginning today. So if you've ever thought about running for office in Beverly, now's the time. Come see Ms. Kent and her team and pull your nomination papers. Councilor Houseman, I saw your hand.
Yes, just as a reminder, at your request, Councilor Rand and I will work on making a presentation to the full council on the National Grid project and the Citizen Advisory Committee, what's been going on and lessons learned and so forth. And also that Finance and Property will be meeting next Monday at 6:30 p.m. To consider the appointments by the mayor of 2 new assessors for the city.
Thank you very much, Councilor Houseman. And thank you to you and Councilor Rand for working on that report too. I know there's members of the council are eager to hear sort of a synopsis of everything that Councilor Rand described that you both have been doing with that Citizen Advisory Committee. So thank you for that. Any other announcements from councilors? Well, our next regular meeting, as I mentioned earlier, will be on the 18th. That's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here in council chambers. And in the meantime, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 7-0, and we are adjourned with our thanks, as always, to BevCam.